Xander Zayas versus Ennis. My thoughts before the fight. Both of these guys are hyped up. Boots more so than Xander. Both of these guys are pretty much the exact same fighter. Right up until this, right now, both of these guys are not pay-per-view fighters. This is basically like their championship fight, in my opinion, for both guys, even though one guy has 2 belts. And the other guy was crowned by Saudi Arabia as whatever it was, welterweight. He wasn't. Alright, let's just get that out of the way. He wasn't anything at welterweight. You're going to bring up Stanionis. Stanionis was like on a 5-year hiatus. And when Stanionis was starting to push the pace, round 3, and Ennis hit him with a low blow, and Stanionis basically just quit at that point. Because he knew that if he would press, his nuts would get fucking destroyed. Ennis is the most notorious low blower in probably boxing viewership history. And they've been pushing this guy. Every time he gets hit, he goes low. Even to the point where, like, if you were to talk about Andre Ward, how dirty he was, I mean, this guy is even dirtier than Andre Ward. Like, visually, he hits more to the nuts than Ward and Shaker Stevens, right? So, but going back to both of these guys, they fight the exact same way. They got the same stance. They have the same hand placement, the same foot placement. We're talking about how they stand, right? They're you know, they block the same way. They don't punch the same way, though, right? Xander is more straight with his punches. Boots is more wide with his punches. He launches a lot of punches from, his ankles, too. So, when you're looking at, Boots will try to go southpaw also. He'll go southpaw. Xander doesn't, right? So, they are basically the same fighter. This is a 50-50 fight, in my opinion. This is one of those pick'ems, but when you're talking about who knows what in boxing or whatever it is, it's such a pick'em that you can throw any wild prediction, and if you're wrong, it's like, who cares, right? They're both of these guys were at the same exact level, and it's a 50-50 fight. That doesn't make it a pay-per-view fight, though, in my opinion. And so, when you're looking at low blows, Xander does low blow too, but he doesn't carry the power of a Ennis. So Ennis, his low blows are bad, right? We're going on 4 minutes in this, and we're just talking about how bad his low blows are. Now, going into some of these, I actually spent the time to watch some of the build up into this fight, and nowadays I don't, because a lot of these fights are just rigged or fixed or whatever it is. This one seems like there's a little bit of a fix to it. Now I'll get into it, but I think that for me it is such a pick'em that I did watch a lot of the build up to it, because when this fight first got announced, however many months back, 6 months back or whatever, I had already picked my guy, right? So going into what I had seen, people were talking about, okay, I'll go into my pick. So 4 minutes in, I'll go into my pick. I'm picking Xander Zayas to win by split decision. It's going to be 9-3. Ennis wins 3 rounds clearly. Xander Zayas might win 2 rounds clearly, but those 7 rounds will be close enough where it becomes a pick'em, and however, Xander will win all of those rounds legitimately, right? In my opinion. Now, people just look at Ennis, his skin color, and they say he's going to win by first round knockout. The thing about me listening to what people have to say about it is they always go back to that Karen fight, right? Karen Chukajayan, as whatever they say. I think that's his name was Chukajan, right? But and Showtime kept pushing Jaren Ennis, but they always kept saying, "Oh, this guy's name, Karen Chukajan. Remember the name. He's gonna be something one day after Boots leaves this welterweight division." Whatever they said, right? Immediately after Karen loses, they call him Karen. After Karen loses, they start calling him a man named Karen again, making fun of his name. And they just immediately forget how to even pronounce his last name, right? Chukadzian, right? I saw one interview where they said Chukadzian. How do you pronounce your last name? The guy says Chukachan. After the interview is over, he says, "Oh, thanks a lot talking to us, Mr. Chukadzian." Right? Whoever that dumbass was. Chukadzian ends up being nobody, right? Chukadzian ends up being a nobody. He gets beat by just some B-level guy. And this was Ennis' hardest fight. So everybody who's talking about Ennis versus Xander Zayas, they always go back to that Karen fight because Karen won both of them. He beat him both times, right? As a smaller man, which is, people don't like to acknowledge it until it's time for an actual fight where he's going up against someone that actually might be a challenge and might beat him. They'll go, "Oh, Karen had already beat him twice," right? So you go back to that, and then you talk about, they keep talking about genetics, right? Oh, he's just got that special. It's because he's black. You're picking him because he's black. If Jaren Ennis was a white guy, if he was a white guy, you wouldn't give two shits about him, right? Two shits about him. If he was a white guy, you would be picking Xander Zayas to beat him 9-3, which is what I just said was gonna happen. Okay, now, like I said, I might be wrong. It's 50-50. That's why everybody is given a prediction, because anything can happen in this fight, right? Which is probably why they put it on pay-per-view. However, when you look at the optics of it, it seems to be rigged for Jaren Ennis, right? And so if let's say he wins those 3 rounds, and then there's 7 close ones, he'll win by split decision, right? Whatever it's gonna be a controversial one, unless he knocks out Ennis or Zayas, right? So he claims he's gonna knock out Zayas in the first round. I would be surprised if he does, because he said he was gonna be on that Tyson against Karen, and he got beat up, right? There was no Tyson at all. He looked like a bum in that fight. Yeah, he had some power, some shots, but a lot of things that he fights in spurts, right? He fights in spurts. He can easily be had. And so when you're looking at the judging, some people judge the spurts, some people will judge around the entirety of the round. Okay, and then I also heard, who was it? I think it was Max Kellerman's podcast. I listened to it. They were talking about Jaren Ennis' family name or something like that, right? His family lineage. And like, there is none when it comes to boxing. For the Ennis family in boxing, there is no lineage. All of these guys were just journeymen, right? Even, I think the dad of Derek Bozy Ennis, I believe his name was. You look up his record, and it's his professional record, and you say he's a nobody. Right? He's a nobody. Maybe he had a glass chin, whatever it was. All of these guys, and the only thing about his lineage is that they have glass chins. Weak chins. I won't say glass, right? Weak chins. Every time this guy Ennis gets hit in the head, he goes low. And so, with that being said, yes, if it were a real fight, Xander Zayas, in my opinion, probably wins. However, he probably gets hit low fucking at least 16 times. At least 16 times to the balls. Right, in which, you know, maybe he gets knocked out by the ball shots. Or getting zapped from getting hit too many times in the balls. And that's kind of like the X factor in this fight, is how many times Xander Zayas gets hit in the balls. Because that's... If you're a guy, I don't even have to explain it, right? But there's a lot of fucking idiots out there that you do have to explain. I'm not going to explain it to you idiots. If you ever stumble upon this channel, which you probably won't. But there you go. I mean, I can probably go on for 2 hours, right? Just talking about both of these guys. Because I had been hard on Xander Zayas also. I think I was one of the only YouTubers who was hard on Xander Zayas, and he probably saw that video and he sharpened up. That's my opinion, right? Because I've seen all of his shit basically. I've only been one of the hardest guys on Xander because of his size. And this was a while back. I don't know if he had a nutritionist at the time, right? But his weight cut didn't look good back then. He had blown up too much, making his chin a liability. And then when you're looking at all of this stuff, okay, when you compare both of these guys, when you look at Xander Zayas, one thing is obvious is his lack of power. He has power, but it's not consistent, right? When he throws his hardest shot, he can stun, he can rock somebody, but he won't he won't stun them, right? He can rock them, he won't stun them, he won't wobble them or whatever it is. You know, they'll feel it. They'll buckle a little bit, but they won't be weary, woozy, right? And so you look at Xander, he gets hit a lot in the chin, and he has lack of power. But when you look at everything else, everything is good, right? His competitiveness, his chin is even good. The only thing is when he takes it to the chin, like, he doesn't make enough of an adjustment to stay clear of it. So if he can take the hit, he's going to take the hit even if he can avoid it. Yeah. Whereas Ennis will just get hit and, you know, he'll just go low. But we'll go into Ennis. When you're looking at the way Ennis does things, he has they want to say all of the intangibles, right? But Xander Zayas puts it together. He puts all of it together way better than Ennis, because Ennis fights in spurts. He's not that great of a boxer when you're looking at all of his fights as a whole, because his motor is shaky, right? He's got a shaky motor. He's not, whereas Xander can go 80% the whole time. Ennis is like 50 to 100, 50 to 100, 50 to 100%. Get what I'm saying? And so when you're looking at who puts everything together, all of the skills and all of this stuff, it was Xander. Xander puts everything together way better than Ennis. Right? Which is, I'm explaining why I'm picking Xander to beat Ennis. And I think it's obvious. However, again, those low blows are just... If Jaron Ennis doesn't land a single low blow and he knocks Xander out or outboxes him, I would be impressed. However, like, when you're talking about credit given, both guys are at the same level, so it's like I said, it's a pick'em, and whatever opinion flies for this one. So I feel like trying to condense what everybody is saying and giving an opinion of it, you know. it's in a short amount of time, you really can't do it, right? So, because when you're talking about everything bad about both of these guys, Ennis has a lot more bad than Xander does, right? And when you're looking at the goods, Xander has a lot more good than Ennis does. Does that make any sense? So Xander does a lot of things way better than Ennis, and he has a lot less flaws than Ennis. He puts everything together, even though both of these guys fight very similar. Yeah? And so, I forget what my point is. It's getting kind of late, and I'm losing my train of thought, because it goes back to that whole lineage thing, right? Like, oh, the Ennis name, like, huh? In the grand scheme of things, that family name is just not that great, right? Not that great. Maybe when boxing was at a lull, they were really good. Like, who was that dude? I was gonna name some of these journeymen from like the mid 2000s, but I don't remember their name. I think, never mind. But it was like a lot of these journeymen, right? So if you go to the casino or whatever it was to watch these fights, you would see like a lot of these same fighters from all over the nation, right? Whether you were watching them fight in Minnesota or Chicago, or where else would they have it? In the upper Midwest. It would be like the same guys. It would just be like the same guys, basically. And it's like, you're putting this Ennis name of these journeymen, like, it's like a legendary name. And this guy's had like 40 fights, basically. And he's basically just a prospect still. An overhyped prospect, right? Where one guy is a lot younger and has accomplished more, basically, than whatever. Oh, so going back to Xander Zayas versus Garcia, that fight was close, right? Garcia beat the crap out of Conway. Right? Conway couldn't handle. Think about it like this: Conway couldn't handle those punches from Garcia, and Xander could. Right? So Xander's chin, even though he got hit a lot, is pretty good. And when you're looking at the power of Ennis trying to carry up versus a Garcia, how do they stack up, right? Because Garcia was throwing a lot of those lightning quick punches, or like those punches in the exchanges that would always land on Xander, but Xander didn't go down. Now, some parts of that fight made me, raise an eyebrow. But if that fight were completely real, like, how would Ennis do against Garcia? That same Garcia, 6'1" or whatever it was. How would he do without low blows, right? He would probably get knocked out, in my opinion, against that same Garcia. So, we'll put it like that. I can go on for a long time, right? But I'm looking at this timer also, and I'm also trying to make it pretty short. So I'm going to leave it at that. I got Zayas winning 9-3. 3 clear rounds for Ennis. 2 clear rounds for Zayas. 7 rounds that are competitive. Zayas winning. Most likely Ennis low blowing, right? Which, in my point, in the way I score things, you start cheating like that, you basically lose the round. I don't give the round to you, no matter what good work you do, right? As it should be when points are supposed to be taken away. So I'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching, if you even reached this far.